Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. So glad to have you here. Listen, if you're interested in the podcast about the First London Confession, you can just find that on YouTube, you can find that on Spreaker, and you can find it in all the other places where Daily Dose Radio is uploaded. So just check it out wherever it is that you find this podcast. And also go to YouTube and check out the shorts videos that I'm producing. These are one a day, and they are following the Baptist Catechism through the entire catechism. We're going to read the whole thing, which is about 117 questions and answers, I think. So hope you'll join me there as well. Today we're looking at verses 13 through 16 in Psalm 116. This is the second package, or the second strophe. Here begins just like verse 9. Verse 9 began, I will walk before the Lord in the land of the living. Here we begin with 13, I will take the cup of salvation. Now, this answers the question that was posed in 12. What shall I render unto the Lord? Remember, don't get so focused on what men are doing and the affliction that you're suffering because you're a Christian. Focus on the benefits that the Lord is giving you in this life, because remember, you're walking before Him. You're not walking before them. You're walking before Him. Your responsibility is to Him. Your life is to Him. All of it. Whether we live or we die, we are the Lord's, the apostle told us. So he asks the question, what shall I render unto the Lord for all of His benefits towards me? Well, let's read now verses 13 through 16. I will take the cup of salvation and call upon the name of the Lord. I will pay my vows unto the Lord now in the presence of all His people. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of His saints. O Lord, truly, I am thy servant. I am thy servant and the son of thy handmaid. Thou hast loosed my bonds. So he asks the question and answers the question. But not only here in 13 and following, but also in 17 and following. This question continues to be the question that is answered throughout the remaining two strophes of this psalm. I will take the cup of salvation and call upon the name of the Lord. I will pay my vows unto the Lord now in the presence of all His people. So you'll notice that he takes the cup of salvation, but he combines that with calling upon the name of the Lord, which is what he did in 4, and we're going to see the exact same thing again in 17. Also, you'll notice that 14, I will pay my vows unto the Lord now in the presence of all His people, is also repeated in 18. So we have these little antiphonal pieces that are repeated, and they're congregational, because you'll notice it says, in the presence of all His people. So again, we have that in 18, all of His people, in the presence of all of His people. Not only is He going to take the cup of salvation and pay His vows, but He's going to offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving. All of that is done in the presence of God's people. That's why I say this is congregational in a sense, because we're entering into this motion and adopting it really for ourselves. This action that He's taken to take the cup of salvation, call upon the name of the Lord, pay His vows, and do that in the presence of His people. Remember, you're walking before the Lord in the land of the living. There he said that in verse 9. But you're also walking before the Lord in the land of the living in the presence of the rest of the people of God. So there's also a responsibility to them. Notice again the congregational influence here in 15. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of His saints. So he's thinking about the congregation there as well. And then we have, here's something in 16 that is very messianic. This is the Lord speaking, I think. I think this, we could say this is Messiah speaking here. Prophetically, we have it here in Psalm 116. I am thy servant, and the son of thine handmaid. Now, remember what Mary said in Luke chapter 1, she said, behold now the handmaid of the Lord, be it unto me according to your word. Remember that when the angel spoke to her? So Mary, I think, is reflected here in this. Thou hast loosed my bonds. The Lord does it for this believer. He did it for the Lord Jesus as well. Join me again tomorrow. We're going to look at verses 17 through 19 here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.